Well, good afternoon, Ed. How are you today?
I'm good today, Rich. It's been a great morning.
Yeah, it's actually been a great week thus far, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. We're back here in the office this week. We were recording podcasts at the IPMI here about a month ago, and they're still coming through edits and production and all that, and
Right.
all coming out. It's good stuff. Just thinking about the next set of interviews and conversations we're going to have in the next 3 to 5 weeks. We've got some really good people that are coming on. We will be traveling. We're going to be back in Orlando, Florida again, but this time for the Automotive Recyclers Association, the ARA.
That's right.
What is that? The 78th annual, I think it is.
Might even be the 79th.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that association's been
Putting that
around
show
a
on
long
for
time.
a long time, absolutely.
Yeah. I had a little bit different topic I wanted to talk about today, and it kind of came up when we were at the IPMI conference because I remember one of the gentlemen we were speaking to, he mentioned a video that he saw on YouTube a while back where they were, sweeping up the dust off the freeways in Los Angeles, right?
Right.
Remember that?
Absolutely.
That was pretty interesting. And they were trying to assay the dust to see if it actually had precious metal from all those catalytic converters that are going down the freeways.
Right. All the blow-by,
To
speak, right?
Yeah, what would you call that? Off the tailpipe?
Yeah.
Yeah. It got me thinking a little bit. I remember probably about 7-8 years ago, I read an article about this phenomenon of platinum, palladium being worn off the substrate in real world environment as it's mounted on a vehicle. It's going down the freeway. It's rattling. It's shaking.
Right.
And a certain amount of it is blowing out the tailpipe. Now, granted, you probably couldn't weigh it on a scale. It's so little. I think I read something about 25 milligrams per 70,000 miles or something like that. It's very little.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a lot of cars on the road.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of cars on the road, right?
That's right.
And so, so then if you think about it, right, at the point that converter is mounted on a vehicle, OEM manufacturer, it's fully loaded. Then it goes down the road with so many miles, 100,000 miles.
Plus.
Some of it's
nowadays.
come out of it, right, off the substrate. Mm-hmm. Well, what if it's on the road for 200,000 or 300,000 miles? I know some vehicles that have got a couple 100,000 miles on it. They're still on the road.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
I've got one. But you think about it, right? You multiply that across how many million cars?
It adds up.
It adds up. It's just kind of an interesting thought that there is losses of PGMs in the real world environment that these converters are experiencing daily.
That's right.
Out there. So then now I'm going to downshift into another topic.
Here we go.
Okay, so the topic is, last few years I've heard this question come up from some of our vendors that are selling converters by the part number off of apps or price guides. We have one.
Right.
Other companies in our space, they have one. And I've been asked, well, why is there a variation in pricing? Same part number. Mm-hmm. You ever think about that? Why is there a variation in pricing for that same part number? So I was thinking about it a little bit deeper, and I realized that you've got these different conditions that these converters experience while they're on the road. If we get in a part number, a converter, it's going to be sampled and it's going into the lab, and based off analysis that's reported out of the lab, we will populate our price guide with analyzed analysis-based
Correct.
values. Okay? We're not the only company that does that. There's quite a few companies that do that as well.
That's
So
right.
if we're all doing basically the same thing, And, sampling methodology and analysis techniques are as advanced as they are, and they're very standardized these days, not like they used to be, but they're very standardized. So why is there a variation? Well, I think about that, and I wonder, is it because one company has a converter that's got 200,000, 300,000 miles on it, and maybe that converter's experienced some potholes? Substrate might have taken a few hits. Maybe some of it's left through the tailpipe, and they're only going to be able to obtain results based on what's in the can of the converter, not what's on the road.
Right.
Right? Or maybe we took in a converter that was from a salvage yard, had 15,000 miles on a vehicle, it got in a wreck. Converters for recycling available for recycling now, and it's low mileage. It has low road experience, right?
Yeah, less heat cycles.
So less heat cycles,
years
less
on the road.
vibration, all that, and so maybe the loadings are more intact from when mounted by the OEM.
Right.
So then the analysis is conducted. So if you could compare the two, there's going to be a variation there.
Right, PPMs.
I couldn't tell you what the variation is, but there would be.
Absolutely, there would be. Yeah.
Can you think of any other reasons besides that? Maybe sampling error could occur.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think those are basically the reasons
Those are the two
right
big
there.
reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, the two big reasons.
The mileage and
So
the
that
sampling
kind of
error.
answers the question of why are the prices not the same from app to app to app to app? Why aren't the prices the same? Well, because I don't think that it was the same converter that was analyzed from company to company to company, right?
That's a true statement.
So it's the same part number.
Different loadings at that particular time when it was analyzed, maybe? Like you're saying?
Different remaining loadings. Same loadings at OEM manufacturer,
Right.
but after road experience, loadings have varied slightly.
That's the difference.
Loadings have varied slightly.
Right.
So those are the two main reasons that I can think of as to why there's a difference in pricing. I've seen some converters, lower value converters that are within, say, 5%. Higher value converters maybe within 10%. And I really think that's the main reason right there, is because of the real world experience that converter had before it got to the lab for analysis.
Right.
Because everyone has their protocol, it's got to get inputted into their app, and the numbers are the numbers. I don't know any company out there that's going to pay more than what it's worth.
Yeah.
It's just, you wouldn't stay in business
That's not
doing
good
that.
business practice.
No, that's not a good business practice, is it?
No.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Have
That's
you
a
heard
good-
that question, though, about the variance between price guides?
It comes up now and then, and we've talked about this, in the past about when we get one versus a competitor get one, and this what you just went through, different stages in life on the vehicle itself, and so I think you hit that nail on the head.
Well,
with that.
I also know that, a lot of the aggregators of scrap catalytic converters in the marketplace, they're looking at multiple apps, multiple pricing guides, and many of them are selecting their inventory, running spreadsheets, selling to the highest buyer for those part numbers, and then taking the other partners to the other who has the highest price for those part numbers. And, that kind of makes sense, as a business model for them to do that.
Right.
But I also think about the companies that are buying and cutting these converters and sending them in for assay. If they're relying upon an app for value purposes, right, there's going to be some variation.
Absolutely.
If you handle, say, 5 converters that have the same part number, those 5 converters are going to vary in value somewhat. Now, on your price guide, do you have the highest price? Well, you do for the part number that you analyzed.
That we've analyzed, yeah.
Right?
Right.
So you might have gotten a lower mileage converter. So
Right.
therefore got into your price guide at a higher price.
Right.
Maybe I got a higher mileage converter
Right.
and got into my price guide at a lower price. So as a buyer of these part numbers, we're looking for the average,
Yeah.
right? Because it's pretty hard to analyze 50, 10, 5 part numbers, the same part,
Right.
and then normalize them for the grade and then put them into the price guide.
Right.
And I know some companies have tried to do that, and they see the variation.
Yeah. I think it's better the other way
Yeah,
with the average.
yeah, yeah. I don't see it as an issue. I don't see it as a problem. But where people, I think, will make the most money is if they're selling on assay,
Yeah. That's
not by the part number.
right. That's where you reach the top of the market.
That's where you reach the top of the market. So
Definitely.
you know, there's a need for price guides. You need it to buy your, 2, 3, 5 converters from a repair shop.
Right.
It's not a volume for analysis,
No,
for assay-based selling. But then those that are buying them by the part number using the price guides,
Yeah. And that helps them.
they can leverage that and accumulate a volume to get into a program where they sell on assay
Right.
and get paid for the ounces of the platinum, palladium, and rhodium. So, I just thought that I should try to address that today because I've had a couple of questions about it recently, and then one of our friends at IPMI suggested we get out on the freeways in LA and start sweeping up the dust and
That's right.
turn that in for.
If you see 2 guys on a local freeway in California getting arrested, it won't be us.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
say.
not today. It's early August, and it's about 98 degrees outside here
Oh,
in
yeah,
Southern
it's-
California.
Yeah, it's definitely summertime.
It's
here.
pretty warm. Humidity's down, which is good.
Yeah.
That's what's good about being out here. But it's just too hot to.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be sweeping the freeways any day.
Yeah, not anytime soon. That's funny.
That's all I had. That's all
That's
I wanted
it.
to say.
Well, that
to
was
you
good.
today.
That was some good factual information. I think that the viewers can, really understand.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Just a fun fact,
Yeah.
Some fun facts.
Well, I appreciate your time sitting down with us today. So thank you very much.
Sounds good. See ya.
Take care.